I am your host, Brandon, and I interview people who have a service based business who ideally have at least 10 employees and who have been in business for at least 5 years. Jawad has quickly become a good friend of mine, and he has an amazing company. So I'm going to pass it over to Jawad. Jawad, appreciate you being here.
Thank you, Brandon. This is very cool. I like the new initiative you're doing, and I think it's cool just to get some juices flowing and get people to be marketed and talk about what they do, especially in the service and service-based businesses. So thank you for having me. We have known each other for just over like 2 years now, so I'm glad that we're still connected and always making new connections.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So why don't you give the audience just, I guess, a quick background of who you are, where you're from, and what you're doing for work now.
Absolutely. So, Brandon, I'm gonna dive into it old school, like how when we first met.
Nice.
Um, you know, I feel like my journey and why I'm here today is in April 2020, I got fired from my job because of COVID, and that really changed the game for me. Um, at that time, I'm like, I don't want to go back working for another company. I don't want to get into the history of what I did and my education, all that. In 2020, I was no job and I had, the world was my oyster. What do I want to do? And that's when Joe and I, my business partner, sat down and we started, really getting into it, talking about our careers and where we're going. And we decided that, being a business owner is for us. And we got into what we do. Joe had been doing this for a while prior, and I had been ready to start a company, be an entrepreneur, and I love service-based businesses and I love technology. And that's when it really started to develop. So we took that leap of faith. For me, instead of going to look for another job, I just, started a business. And for Joe, he, was working late hours on the business, and then eventually we branched off and we were both full-time secure tech. So what does Secure Tech Systems do? We're a low voltage company. We're based here in Garden City, New York.
Nice.
And, we focus on security camera systems, access control systems, intercoms, and audio video systems in commercial properties. We work in schools. We work in government properties. We work in multifamily housing. We work in law firms, corporate offices, lots of different types of places, dental offices, medical. So any place where you would imagine seeing a security camera, a card reader, a PA system, a large television screen, multiple speakers. That's all areas that we work in. We do large networks, server rooms, a lot of data cabling. I have some stats on our website about how many cameras and
Nice.
thousands of feet of cable that we installed last year and the year before. So that's what we do.
That's awesome, Jawad. You said something super, super interesting. So obviously, once COVID hit, it changed the lives of pretty much everybody. Some for the positive, some for the not so positive. But it seems like it's been pretty amazing for you. And just kind of curious, did you, once you got fired, did you have 100% sort of conviction that you wanted to open up your own company? Were you kind of thinking about pursuing a W-2, or what did that kind of look like?
Great question. So, I mean, it's funny. The word is furloughed, right?
Right.
Not fired.
Okay.
Gotta keep my name clear on that one. But furloughed because basically, with COVID, they had to downsize completely. Businesses were shut down. The funny thing is, my previous owner called my previous employer. I'm saying owner. My previous employer called me back 2.5 months after we started Secure Tech, offering me my job back because they had got the PPP loan. And that was a moment where I was like, wow, do I go back to it? And I was already like full blown gung ho on SecureTech. But no, at that time, you know, I had a corporate job before that. The last job I had was working for a small business owner, and he was honestly the man. He lived a great life. He was Long Island, like born and raised.
Nice.
He had a great business. It was doing well for himself. He was an ethical man. Like I really looked up to him. And at that time, before COVID happened, my goal was to work for him alongside him for as many years as possible and eventually become his partner in the auto body industry.
Oh,
Like
nice.
that was, and I told him that, and he was on board. He was like, yeah, put in the time and the years. If it works out that way, like, you know, lead, you know, he gave me that floor. So it was tough at that time, but I was like, even a guy that him and I have such a good relationship, when push comes to shove, if you got to shut your doors, you know, if you ain't the owner, you're an employee, you got to go. And that was like eye-opening to me, right? So that's when that also motivated me, was like, okay, this guy was an owner. I really looked up to him.
Right.
I have to become that myself, you know, and that's where Joe was at too. We both kind of saw that, like, really to have your own freedom, you know, build your own schedule. If you want to make a lot of money, don't want to have these financial concerns. Living on Long Island's crazy expensive. If you want to like not have that take 30 or 40 years of service to another company, you have to start a business.
100%, Jawad. Yeah, that's super powerful. And you know, I'm glad to hear that you worked for a person who, you know, you really enjoyed being around. I think that's super important if you're an employer, to have a good relationship with your employees, and of course, you know, vice versa as well.
Full circle, that employer, like, you know, obviously we had each other on like LinkedIn and social media and all that, and we were close, so we stayed in touch, supported SecureTech, gave us a referral, which we closed on that deal. So
that's
like,
amazing.
yeah, I mean, you know it. I don't need to tell you, but you know, your network is everything.
Of course.
And so, you know, staying connected even with previous employers, a guy that let me go, you know, still, it's the way to be.
For sure, for sure. And my next question, I think I have a hunch to your answer, but you know, why do you enjoy what you do in the world of security?
One of my favorite things about what I do that I love is like how my role is hybrid, right? Where I could just be anywhere. I'm doing so many different things. Sometimes as a business owner, you're really doing like the role of like 3 full-time people all in one. Sometimes it's 5 full-time people. So that part is cool. And then I like that we have like different industries that we work in. So you see behind the scenes of a lot of different places. For example, like I mentioned schools, I mentioned like restaurants,
Definitely.
a lot of corporate buildings, a lot of buildings in Manhattan, property management groups, you know, warehouses, storage facilities, like being on the back end, being in touch with all the management. You know, you interact with so many different people. Being in like a facilities service type business, like security and AV and data cabling, you know, people need us in buildings.
Definitely.
I also like that we're involved in construction projects. It's a lot of fun to be involved on something that's like developing, something that's brand new, something that looks beautiful, you know, like, you know, to see that completed project in 2024, brand new building erected. And, you know, you guys were the vendors that were a part of that. It feels great.
100%, Jawad. Yeah. Just to, you know, have that sense of accomplishment, I think is really amazing. And just to know that you are part of something, that's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then when you first started your company, obviously it was during the pandemic, but you know, for you, what was a challenge that you faced early on, and how did you overcome that?
Challenge early on. You know, decision making is always a challenge. You know, you're doing everything for the first time, and you're kind of a newbie still. So you're like, all right, like, how much risk do I still take? when's the right time to do this. And sometimes you learn, there's a lot of noise out there, right? That you go to one networking event, you can meet 3 different people from, financial advisors or insurance companies that all have like a different pitch. You should be doing this, opening this type of account. You should be taxed like this. So just kind of getting the groove, the beginning part is hard, where also the doubt rolls through your head, right? So there's just a lot of, I guess, the mental pressure in the beginning is one of the biggest challenges. Yeah, I would say mental pressure, like you're just like, there's a lot on your plate. There's a lot of moving parts. And, sometimes it's just crickets, you know what I mean? There's no business, there's no emails, there's no phones ringing. And you're just like, damn, did I do the right thing? I have all these decisions to make for a business that's not doing any business. Like, you know what I mean? You're like, oh, let me make this brochure. And it's like, if it doesn't work, it's kind of just like the resilience in the beginning. And how I overcame it, honestly, I always say that, like, specifically Gary V videos.
Nice.
A huge reason why we made it to passing like 2 years. I remember like feeling like a bum in my bed, with a new startup that wasn't doing so hot, just sideways on my phone watching Gary V videos. And I would like slap my hand on the bed. I'm like, I gotta get up, man. I gotta get up right now and make this happen. Like, and I'm telling you, his videos were really uplifting because I feel like he was like, it's like he could see me and he was like talking to me because he was like, speaking about my age group, my identity. Right. He's naming the doubts that are running through my head every single night and day. Like, he just really understands what an entrepreneur goes through and knows how to like put it well into words. And like, yeah, so those videos used to get me really going. And they honestly, not as much. I don't see them as much, but I should. But even now, I love getting a lot of like social media. How it could be a positive is if you follow the right accounts.
Yeah.
Less memes and more motivational quotes, honestly, motivational videos, all that, it makes a difference. It's all like, your brain is absorbing that. If it's all like, drama and, hot topics with celebrities, that's what your brain is going to like, be thinking about. But if it's all motivational and like resilient and strategy and, positive energy and health and healing, that's what your brain will be thinking about.
100%, because, ultimately what you think about, your thoughts, they become your belief system, and that becomes the actions that you take on a daily basis. So I 100% agree with you. That's
100%. So that's something how I would overcome it. And to this day, I still overcome it when I'm feeling overwhelmed. There's these motivational speeches. People think it's super cheesy and corny, but I like them. They're like, fearless motivation. If you look them up on YouTube or whatever, they have some really good speeches about like resilience and like, it's good for the gym.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Jawad. Yeah. When I used to work out every day, now it's like, I don't know, 3 times a week. But
nice.
I used to run, and when I ran on the treadmill, I would always listen to like Tony Robbins or I think it was a few other people as well, probably some Grant Cardone at the time. But it helps you out a lot. So that's, it's super, super powerful. Wanted to also ask, there's a handful of people who are in your space, but how do you stand out from your competition?
So, I mean, there's a couple of ways, but I feel like some of the biggest ways that we stand out is I like to sell people on this factor, right? We are a young company, 5 years old. We're at the forefront of the latest technology. I personally do the R&D to decide what products that we sell and which products that we, connect with as dealers that we support and put into our clients' buildings, right? So the top camera systems, the latest access control systems with the best cybersecurity, the best durability, the best software, the best user friendliness. So on the R&D side, on the product side, you're getting the top of the notch equipment. What Joe really ensures, right? And it's the duo of our team, right? This young team where you're led by Joe and Jawad. Jawad's taking care of running the office side, Mint, your documentation, your service, your calls, your emails, everything is going to be 20, instant response time. And in the field, on the installation side, you're getting the best, 10-year veteran construction background installation team led by Joe, who's been doing this for the longest at our company, where he cuts no corners. He takes so much pride in his work. Every single job is receiving the compliments of our clients. I'm not even kidding you, because nobody takes that work to make it look so magical at the end. It's art. Sure. What we do with the cabling and the way we install server racks, it's like actually artwork. And you can tell the passion in my voice. Like when you have owners that are in the business, that are running the business, where this is their life and like what they're trying to build, and our core values are quality and service and integrity. We actually keep it very simple. We're giving you the best equipment, we're giving you the best installation, and we're providing you the best service. We're honest, and you can trust us, and that's what all our clients will tell you.
Definitely. Yeah. No, I think that your service is invaluable, because when it comes to wiring and cabling, anything that has to do with technology to whatever extent, I find extremely overwhelming. So I'm super grateful that there's people like you out there, Jawad.
100%.
Yeah. And so if you weren't in your current industry, what else could you see yourself doing?
That is a very good question. Honestly, like if I was a free bird like that, I don't know. Because I didn't know before, and this kind of took some planning, and we dove into it. But I could see myself either starting other businesses related to. I like the service-based businesses, so we could really probably relate on that.
For sure.
I like things where you're servicing people, and I do like real estate, so I like large properties. So maybe like some sort of like commercial cleaning company, or flooring, door replacements. Like I like almost being, I don't know. I like that now after I do this. So
for sure.
Maybe sales, type of like a commission-based job, try and like make hundreds of thousands of dollars just in a sales training program. Who knows?
That's so funny. That's awesome though. I thought that you would have said professional basketball player, and I only say that because our mutual friend Dylan, he told me that he has your name saved in his phone as Baller Jawad because he met you playing basketball. So that's the other thing that I would have thought about.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. And okay, so here's the biggest question. What is something that nobody knows about you?
All right, I know this is live, but live is live. I gotta grab this call. Someone's calling me 3 times, but I'm gonna tell them I'm gonna call them back.
Okay. You got it.
Hello, this is Jawad. Absolutely. Lori, you got the right company, and I'm so grateful that you called. I'm actually just having a meeting with somebody in person right now. Are you still available later today? Can I call you back at this number? Oh, but until 6:30? I'll definitely get back to you today. All right. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Okay, that's good. That's good. Real life.
You better get back to Lori now.
Yo, 100%. 100%. That was crazy, but I'm glad she got my cell. All right, we can continue. So what is something that nobody
knows about
me?
I thought that was a cop-out. to answer the phone.
No,
I'm like, come on,
I
Jawad.
it was crazy. I was watching it ring, and I was like, I should just do this. Something that I might not even know. It's where to begin.
It could be a lesser known thing too.
Lesser known, yeah, of course. Man. Okay. I mean, one thing that's not that unknown is I do love tennis. I don't know if I talk about that, but I freaking love tennis.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
There you go. I definitely talk about like soccer and basketball more, but like tennis has definitely a place in my heart.
Jawad,
let's go.
As you can see, my dad was actually ranked 44 in the country at tennis. So when it comes to like paddle sports, if it comes to like ping pong, I take it super seriously. So
it's a great sport. We need to do that. I think that's when we meet up next in person with Dylan, hopefully we can play some tennis or ping pong or something.
I take it super seriously though.
Not pickleball. Tennis, I'll go all in. Ping pong, I like to chill, but we can go serious. But tennis, definitely. I will be Roger Federer locked in if we play it. I just love you know what I like about tennis? I like playing singles. It's you versus you.
100%.
Like, all the errors, and I like to reduce those errors. If you can reduce your errors, you can win the game. Like, it's crazy. I love that sport.
So what you said is so true, because when you play a team sport, there's a lot less accountability, right? You can always blame it on your teammate. When it comes to tennis or ping pong or something like that, like you can't blame anybody else. If you missed a point, that's on you.
And if he had a good shot, it's because you gave it to him.
Yeah.
It's like it's so crazy. Every hit counts. Everything you do counts. Where you are on the court, how you hit it, how you play the mind game. It's just so fun.
100%. That's awesome, Jawad. I'm glad that I asked that question, because now we have to get the ping pong.
And I want, instead of golf, this is could be like not so loved statement, but I think tennis is more fun as a networking sport than golf. But there's not a lot of that, social interaction time. But you can talk before or after. But I just think that tennis is like a sport I want to win business over.
Perfect. So we'll have to play, definitely. Second,
win business by beating me.
Second to last question. So, who is your ideal customer?
My ideal customer is a facilities and building technology decision maker that's responsible for 5 or more buildings or properties, sites. And the reason for that is, and on an employee scale, anywhere between, like 10 and 500 employees is a good middle ground for us here. That's basically like I don't know if that's considered a small or medium-sized business. I think medium. But essentially that type of client is perfect for us because they have users, they have different properties that have different access levels. They'll with like all the systems that we install, they all have features that cater to clients that take their security and AV and access control like seriously, where they want remote access, where they want reporting, where they want advanced capabilities, AI, they want this stuff. It's not that they're just like, oh, give me whatever. It's like our clients who are paying for high-end software care about this. And with the multi-sites, they want control over all sites from one dashboard, from one office, one login. So that's key. And that's something where we try and future-proof companies like that are trying to grow. Because before they get to 1,000, they need to streamline this stuff. They need to have it figured out. They can't have hodgepodge security and access
for sure.
You're getting larger and larger. So that's our sweet spot right there.
Nice. Okay, and then I guess in terms of geography-wise,
we're really the metropolitan New York area.
Okay.
So that means Long Island, Nassau and Suffolk, and the 5 boroughs. And we do and have clients in all those areas.
Got it. Understood. Okay. And last question, what is one way you like to give back?
I love that question. One way we'd like to give back is, so we support a lot of different organizations that we work with, the nonprofit side. And like I said earlier, we get to see behind the scenes of a lot of industries.
Mm-hmm.
And on the nonprofit side, we see like organizations that are catered to treating people, in the healthcare department, in the homelessness department, the way they volunteer their time, or they don't volunteer, their organizations, but how their entire lives revolve around helping others and their businesses. So we love to support our clients that are invested in that way. And a large market that we work with is religious institutions and
Nice.
schools. So they are always in need of support, and as vendors, for us getting involved means a lot to them. So we're supporting things overseas, we're supporting things locally. On the personal side, I am a part of a few different groups that do, homeless charity in the city. Muslims Giving Back is one of them. And at the inn in Hempstead, I'm a volunteer there. So, time is one of the biggest things that one can give.
For sure, Jawad. Absolutely. They say that your service to others is the rent you pay for your room on earth. So I'm glad that you agree and that you like to think about ways to help people, even if you're not able to monetize off it. I think it's super important.
This thought is just hitting my head now, which I just want to share. I give back to not just, those in need or an organization, but to everyone that we work with, right? Like from a connection standpoint, if I can help you, Brandon, I will help you, Brandon. From a client standpoint, that's where the integrity comes from. I'm never going to overcharge my client. I'm never going to advise them, the wrong way. When we partner with people, everyone in our network, you're kind of giving back, and it's about the energy you put out there. And like ethics, having high ethics and being honest, you'll never lose. You know what I mean? And so that's kind of how Secure Tech gives back all the time. It's part of our mission. It's just so foundational that I never want to lose that, because that's what I hear. Larger companies, they don't have this anymore. I just want to keep that, at the core of our company forever.
That was a beautiful statement, Jawad. It's it's really good to know that there's people like you out there who hold their clients and just that they really value them outside of just trying to make money.
100%. We're a small piece in like the big world. We want to be like a good piece,
100% quality. Yeah. Awesome, Jawad. Yeah, really appreciate you hopping on. And before we wrap up, do you have a quote or anything that you'd like to share with the audience?
Sure. My favorite quote, which I feel like really has or two now. Okay, the first one is, push yourself to the limits and you will find that you are limitless.
I love that.
I've just continuously added to my plate, and you can still do it. You think you can't, but if you just do it, you could do it. And then you're never questioning it. And the second one that I always say is, you either win or you learn.
That's
you
awesome.
Don't lose. You don't lose when you give something a shot and you gain experience. It's not in my vocabulary.
For sure. Absolutely. Even if you quote unquote, if you fail, you still learn and you're able to have a piece of information that you're able to implement moving forward.
Gary Vee, in one of those videos I talked about, right? He went like this. He was like, this is where you are right now, and this is where your success is. And in between is 50 failures.
Right.
So every time you get a failure, you're knocking one out of the way, because it's going to fail 50 times before you get there. So now you look at the failure like, wow, I just fell. I just failed. Well, now I'm just one step closer, because I'm one step closer to getting it right.
For
So
sure.
I always look at it that way, because you're in it. If you're really in it for the long run, you don't look at it as failure, because, like, listen, I'm getting to my goal anyway. So if I fail right now, it's just eliminating one option.
For sure, Jawad. Yeah, absolutely. You have to fail, and if you fail, you're learning, and that's
Yeah.
vital. It's vital, because our education, especially when we open up a business, our education predominantly is not from reading something; it's from experiences. That's how we learn. So, really, really, really sage advice. Great, Jawad. Really appreciate you chatting. Appreciate you, answering all of these questions. You have a ton of insights, and you're wise beyond your years. So appreciate you joining today.